One of the main functions of EMIT Connect is to contact users when a unit goes down so that appropriate action can be taken. There is a great deal of flexibility in setting up who will be contacted and by what method. This video will cover the logic of how this all works. When a unit starts or stops, the device on the unit, either a dynamic control touchscreen or a data relay, will send an alert to the EMIT servers signaling that the event happened. The EMIT servers then use the configured callout information to determine who should be contacted for this alert. At the base of the callout system is the contact. A contact represents one person or other target. The contact can have a phone number, an email address, or both. A group is a set of contacts that will be notified together. Groups help simplify callout setup by making it easier to add the same set of people to multiple units. A unit can have a mix of individual contacts and groups. To edit information related to callouts, first log into the site at data.emittechnologies.com. A contact is first set up on the portal under Callout Scheduling, Contacts. On the bottom of the page are existing contacts that can be edited. At the top, a new contact can be entered. When you select a contact, its information is put into the boxes at the top. A contact can have a phone number, an email, or both. The bottom checkboxes indicate what type of alerts that contact can receive. For example, if an email address was present, but the email box was not checked, then that person still would not get an email. Note that checking the voice box doesn't mean the person will always get calls. This means that calls are now possible for that person, but they have to be scheduled. This will be covered more later. To create a new contact, just enter a name and email address or phone number. Groups can be added or edited under Callout Scheduling and then the Groups tab. A group can be created using the top section by entering a new group name. Selecting a group below will bring up the Group Edit page. Members can be added to the group by selecting the Members field. You can type in this field to search for a contact. Once someone is a group member, they will receive emails and/or texts for units that have this group assigned. The group calendar is only used for call schedules, which will be mentioned later. If you're not using voice calls, then the group calendar isn't needed. To add a contact or group to a unit, go to the Callout Scheduling and select Calendar next to a unit. You can also filter by area or type a unit number in the filter field to help find the unit. On the right side of the calendar screen, you can search for a contact or group. To add either to a unit, simply drag it over onto the calendar. You can assign individual contacts or groups to the unit this way, and it will show up in the list to the right. Callout flow. When a unit starts, stops, or faults, first the server will notify all individual contacts and group contacts associated with that unit via text, email, or both. This assumes that each contact has text and/or email enabled. When someone gets a text or email, they can acknowledge the alarm by following the link and clicking Acknowledge. This is meant to signify that they are handling it. Whoever later visits this link will see who first acknowledged the alarm. If there are no call schedules set up, which is common, then the sequence is done after the texts and calls go out. Alternately, the system can be configured to send out voice calls if no one acknowledges an alarm. This happens 15 minutes after texts and emails go out. For the calls to be possible, 3 criteria have to be met. 1. The contact has to have calls enabled. This is the voice checkbox under an individual contact. If this is not checked, then the contact can never receive calls regardless of any other settings. 2. The user has to be on call in the group. If a contact is listed under members in a group, they will get texts and emails with any alarm. To get a call, they must also be on the calendar. Note in this example, a contact is put on the calendar as on call from 6 to 10 every day. A person can be set up as on call for a specific period or all the time, but it has to be on this calendar. Note that a contact can be on the calendar many times. In this case, we add this contact again to the call period from 11 to 2 for 3 days. The Group Summary tab now shows a contact is on call for specific times. It is now possible for that person to get calls in that time period. Note that outside that time period, they still will get texts and emails. The third criteria for getting calls is the group assignment to the unit should have the Calls Enabled box checked. On a unit calendar, when a group is selected, this checkbox shows up. Note that this can be used to have a group get texts only on some units and texts and calls on others. If those three criteria are met, the person can receive calls if an alert is not acknowledged 15 minutes after the texts go out. Note that under Callout Scheduling Overview, the current logic shows who is texted and who can be called. If calls do go out and there still was no acknowledgement after 15 minutes, the calls will go out a second time. If a unit has a unit manager and they have calls enabled, and if no one acknowledges the alarm after 2 rounds of calls, the unit manager will be called. This concludes the Callout Scheduling Overview. For more information, visit forum.emittechnologies.com and go to the Knowledge Base section, Connect.